What was his name again?
Yeah.
The Watcher, the Guardian, or whatever his.
Oh, what? I think it was the
Like,
Guardian.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah. No, but like his in
Bruce Willis.
in the movie.
Ironic,
Yeah.
Did he have a name? Did they call him
Ironically, Bruce Willis also doesn't remember that now.
Ugh.
Bang bang.
Insensitive.
But yeah,
Come over.
I totally mistimed that. Oh, no.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Hype Attack Podcast. I am Rudy, joined as always by Jermaine, Doug, and Isaac.
That's for last.
What's up, guys?
Hi.
This is the opening of season 3, the first episode.
We made it.
3 seasons,
You
like
can tell.
20 plus episodes. Like
I had more hair at the start of the other seasons.
more hair or more forehead.
you're not losing hair, you're growing head.
I'll allow it. I had to think about that one. It's like word math.
If on my mind was a thing.
He wakes. He said nothing. He walked in like half an hour ago, said nothing. It's the first thing he fucking says.
You keep it in cock lock and ready to roll. I love it. So when we started brainstorming episodes for this new season, Doug shout out Trilogies. I'm like, cool, we'll do that one, and we all agreed. And then like I had like it's a weird out of body experience. So I'm like, did he say Trilogies? Because it's the 3rd season of the Hype Attack. And I went and asked him, and he's like, yeah.
I didn't think about that.
We totally had like a high five, yeah. so corny, but so just I love it. I love the happiness that I got out of that.
Adorable.
But yeah, so today's episode will be about trilogies. Your favorite trilogies, or not so favorite trilogies, the ones that just couldn't stick the damn landing. We got a couple asterisks on my list, like some shit that should have just been one movie, and that was it.
Matrix?
Fighting
words.
Boy, oh
shit.
boy.
But you know, I can't
That's why
disagree
we
with
do
that.
what we do.
I can't disagree with that. Like that shit was
I can.
on a downward plane for me. That downward dog yoga style for me. Anyway, trilogies.
I know Downward Dog.
Do we?
That's it.
How do you guys want to start this? You want to start off with your favorite, the obvious ones, and then we'll get into some meatier ones, or?
Yeah, go obvious. Go ahead.
I mean, of course, Star Wars,
Of course.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Those are the top 2, and those kind of they don't jump back and forth, but they're like neck and neck as my favorite like of all time.
I think that's like the ultimate nerd question, right? I mean, Kevin Smith even addressed that question in Clerks 2, I believe, right?
There's only one return,
Yeah.
and it's not of the king, it's of the Jedi.
So yeah, those are the 2 obvious ones. If you guys were to pick a third best favorite obvious nerd trilogy movie, what would you go with?
Mine is probably like a because the obvious ones. I'm not with those 2 off my list. They're good movies, but not off my list.
Bring in the humility.
Where's my?
I really.
Move this man!
Hey, boo me all you want. Batman Begins still the best movie out of them. But
I'm gonna stab you.
I'm a fan
in the scrotum.
of he's not really a very loved director, but M. Night's
Oh, that's a great poll.
man,
Yeah, I have that down here.
that series with the
Unbreakables. Would it be the Unbreakables? Is that what you're talking about?
yes,
Okay.
Unbreakable, but
Glass.
what was his
And
name
Split?
again?
Yeah.
The Watcher, the Guardian, or whatever his.
Oh, what? I think it was the
Like
Guardian.
Bruce
like-
Willis.
Yeah. No, but like his in
Bruce Willis.
in the movie.
Ironic,
Yeah.
Did he have a name? Did they call him
Ironically, Bruce Willis also doesn't remember that now.
something? Ugh.
Bang bang.
And some sort of.
But yeah, but
That's going on a fucking
Unbreakable.
button. Thank you.
Yeah.
Unbreakable, Split, and Glass.
Yep.
Like those are probably my favorite movies out of his entire catalog. Because when Split came out, that ending
Ooh.
to me was still a shocker.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that, and then of course when Glass came out, like it just made everything just that full circle. But it was a
Ultimately, how'd you feel about Mr. Glass? That movie.
oh no Glass. I liked the last.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. It just there's something about it like it fell a little flat. It's been a while since I've seen it, but there's just old feelings.
It's to me. It's I don't want to use that phrase that grounded. You know, it's a superhero movie, but it's just one of those movies. It's not the Marvel recipe. It's
Sure.
not the DC recipe. So it's not going to be like a grandiose like Glass isn't like a like a Lex Luthor or somebody like that, who's going to try to pull off this, this amazing scheme. So for what he did in the movie, like I just really love that entire trilogy. Like hands down, it was one of my favorite like non-mainstream like superhero movies of all time.
I think that's also probably going to be one of my biggest like media regrets is like I didn't see Split in time before the ending was spoiled because that was not advertised as part of that trilogy at all, or,
Exactly.
or there was no trilogy or anything like that.
Exactly.
And I don't know if it's ever been done or if it's been done since, the idea of some like semi-random movie, the surprise being it links to a previous movie. Excuse me.
Well,
So yeah, I still haven't. I think I watched a bit of Glass. I still haven't watched Split. Like, I think I'm just so mad that I missed out on like a great little reveal surprise that it's hard for me to go back. Maybe someday.
do you still remember the feeling you guys got at the end of The Incredible Hulk?
What? No.
The after credit scene with like Iron Man
Oh.
and Ross, and you're like, "Whoa, bigger universe!" And then the after credit with Fury.
Yeah. So
I
the first one was
absolutely don't
Iron
remember.
Man, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and then I think they had already talked about it a little bit, and then the after credit was Fury showing up and like, oh, we have a team.
because remember at this point, a shared universe like that wasn't, as far as I'm concerned, wasn't like that big, or they didn't do it. Everyone had their own separate properties in the world.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. I mean, I felt like the first few after credit scenes was Nick Fury showing up or whatever. And I used to just always make the joke anytime I watched anything. It's like, hold on. We got to stay for the credits. Nick Fury's going to show up and ask him to join. That's a good one. You mentioned Batman Begins. I would say like the Dark Knight trilogy, the Christopher Nolan Batman stuff has I would say has gotten itself up there as probably one of the
that's
top three,
definitely
at
up
least
there.
in the nerd trilogy realm. I would say that's
Like,
up
I
there.
think that's up there with Lord of the Rings and
Yeah, that would be my top three
Star
for nerd trilogies.
What also did something to superheroes in cinema? It got taken a little more seriously.
Yeah, because they brought in Christopher fucking Nolan.
Yeah. Did he not go to film school? I thought I read something recently that
I don't know.
he never.
he didn't.
I'll ask him next time.
I heard it was a
Just,
article or whatever that
tag
he said
him
that he couldn't,
in our post.
that he didn't get accepted or whatever.
Oh,
or,
yeah.
so something like that into
'Cause-
film school.
Fucking film schools like UCLA takes like 15 fucking transfers. I tried to transfer to UCLA for film school. They're like, oh, they only take 15. I was like, not gonna happen.
What's okay? So other than those top obvious ones, what is that one then? The Glass Unbreakable trilogy. That like your probably sitting at the top of like favorite.
That's one of them. The new Planet of the Apes series.
Totally.
Oh yeah, are they on to 4 though now?
I think so. I know. I was
they-
running into that a lot.
They
Disqualified.
rebooted it, but they're adding to the chapter, but the first 3 are
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
closed-ended story.
This very well might be a new trilogy. So
Yeah. But there are remnants of what Caesar and the apes created in the new movie.
Yeah.
But that new Planet of the Apes trilogy was a doozy of a run.
And they did a good job with each movie because they kind of spaced out their timeline or whatever a little bit. Like they felt different,
Yeah.
but same.
Yeah.
I will say, and I think
And he's in the first one, right? So there we go.
Nice.
It all connects.
It's all cohesive. And I think we said as much when we covered it. We did a little review on it, a Planet of the Apes. That they're great. I remember watching them and be like, that's fucking amazing. But it suffers that thing of like, do you remember the plot? Do you remember a lot about? Could you know what I mean? Like if we were to talk about like Back to the Future or The Matrix or Batman Begins, or, that trilogy, I can't really tell you the details of the storyline for any of the three and then the fourth movie. I don't know if that means anything, but I just
Probably Good Monkey need to do something against Bad Monkey.
But it's
Bad Monkey strong, Good Monkey strong.
that is
like you're making
because
fun
it's
of
the
me.
new
Hype strong together.
the new era of like movies. It's
pull it up.
It's because you watch Back to the Future 50 million times.
Very true. Yeah.
And with this new wave of movies, unless it's, a franchise or a series that you honestly love, how many times are you really going to go back and watch?
Great.
Yeah, what happened in Thor: The Dark World?
Excellent point.
Ugh.
Someone tried to turn off the lights and then he didn't let them.
Night Elves.
But it was more so that the outbreak of the disease, and which made the apes smarter, and then it just gradually went into their survival against the humans. Like every chapter was just Caesar and his crew just trying to survive some human menace.
You made it. Go ahead.
I have a couple of trilogies on here that are embarrassing, and that's one of them because embarrassing to me because I barely watched the first one. I've never watched the second.
Is it
any of them?
Ass Bangers 1, 2, and 3?
Like I have no idea what you're talking about.
They're
You're talking about that.
absolutely worth a watch. Absolutely worth a watch. And
that's a good
I would
series.
rewatch. Like if I still lived in the world of cable and I was flipping through the channels and it was, I'd absolutely stop and watch any of them for sure.
Oh yeah, like if it would exactly. I would.
What's the term? The remote dropper.
Yeah, the remote dropper. Yeah, like if you were scrolling and you just saw something, and, you just set it down. But it's definitely worth a watch. It's those type of movies that for me they have gravity for me because of just the way that the movie is. Like it's not the typical like superhero movie, and it's not too kind of like heavy into the sci-fi aspect. It's almost one of those movies that you can watch to kind of get away from all that type of stuff. Like if you wanted to, you have that avenue. That's why for me, the Unbreakable, it's just different. Like it's just a different vibe. It's just a different feel, and it just
And I mean, I would argue that the not the first one, but the second two, and then the new trilogy or whatever they're working on, they're post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
So you kind of got that vibe, like it's
That
which
too.
which makes it fun to look at. Like the world's, the humanity's been abandoned, so
Yeah.
the cities are overgrown and everything like that. It has a lot, and for a property that could have easily just relied on like, hey, look how good our effects are.
Yeah.
They didn't. I mean, the effects are amazing, but they didn't lean on that. They didn't rely on that being the only selling point. They
Exactly.
relied on like, we're going to tell a story. It's not going to be anything too hardcore, but it's going to be enough to follow along. You're going to be into it. The characters are going to be people that you care about or apes that you care about.
And if you exactly like if you like the characters, from a certain franchise, but ever since the first movie, Caesar, I latched onto his back like, yo, I was like, let's go. Like it's just one of those like
Hot.
where he went, I was gonna ride with
Put it in
Caesar
Spank Bank.
all the way to the end.
Yeah.
That's where I was a little apprehensive coming into like the fourth one, the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Double Thud, as you said, is because we all fell in love with Caesar, and he was so strongly played by Andy Serkis that like is the new cast gonna be able to hold that together? And they all cared about their roles, and I think that they executed it pretty well.
Yeah.
Was there a whole new actor for the leading ape in the last one?
Yeah, like
Was it just Andy Serkis doing the
Slightly different voice.
yeah?
Was no?
I'm descendant.
Oh damn! What's his name?
Many years passed, many moons.
And what's her name from The Witcher was in it? I just remember like halfway through the movie, we're like, that's where I've seen her before. That's what I normally sound like. It takes so much of me to run this voice for this
Have a
podcast.
few more.
Yeah, I'm sure.
While you're looking that up, speaking of the post-apocalyptic scene, how did I not know Mad Max was a trilogy?
The original Road Warrior, Mad Max, Thunderdome.
I haven't seen it.
I always thought it was just the Road Warrior and Thunderdome, and I'm looking up trilogies and like Mad Max is on. I'm like, there's a first Mad Max. What
Yeah.
the?
wow.
I think I don't even know if I've seen
Are
the
you
first
today
Mad
years
Max.
old?
I've definitely seen Road Warrior.
Like I put my head down. I was like, no.
Yeah.
Like how did I not know?
No, I can shame myself too because I don't know if I've actually seen the first Mad Max. I've certainly seen Road Warrior.
I used to heavily watch those movies.
I have the greatest story with my Uncle Bill, who's like 10 years older than me. He used to live with us at the house, my parents' house, and obviously because when I was 8, I wasn't living alone. We were at the store together, so then like we used to go to the rental. Yeah, back in the 80s and the 90s, we had rental stores where we went to pick up VHSs. So we were like at the rental store or something, but then like we remembered that Cinemax or HBO, one of them was going to be playing Road Warrior at a certain time because that's how things worked back in the day. Yeah.
What is our
Anyway.
demographic, by the way?
I don't know. I don't know at this point. Yeah,
It would save a lot of us
Everyone
prefacing
works-
everything.
Yeah. So we were like, oh, fuck, Road Warrior. Yeah. I didn't say fuck. I was 8. So fuck. Bill and I, like, we run. He had this old VW, like, Bug, I think, at the time. We run into his car. Like, we head home, but, like, Bill, like, pulled off. You know, our elementary school, Jordan, had that, like, little like, dirt patch next to it. He whips into there real quick and just does donuts in the dirt. Like, Road Warrior! I'm loving it. Like, my parents never did shit like that. And, like, I've never been in a car that I didn't even know that was a thing at that point. Donuts, dirt kicking up, then we whip out and then head home and watch Road Warrior. Yeah, so that was my cool story.
Oh, did you just snitch on him just now? Did you just
Yeah,
snitch?
right. Yeah. None of my family watches this.
Tina Turner was in
tried.
Thunderdome.
Tina Turner was in Thunderdome.
Yeah.
The dude with like the motorcycle that had like the weird head on the back.
Which is one with a boomerang? Isn't there like a kid?
Oh
with a
yeah,
boomerang.
that might have been Thunderdome. Had,
Yeah,
no,
I
I think Road Warrior had the kid.
Yeah,
Oh,
these are
maybe
on,
not.
these
Oh,
are on
yeah.
my list.
That's cool though. I mean, I feel like trilogy was kind of like the thing that movies aimed for back in the day.
Yeah. Unless you were like a horror film, then it was like just keep making as many as possible. People are done with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if the movie did good, then it was one of those that they were like more.
I mean, just last night we just saw Paddington Goes to Peru.
I've heard those are
technically a to like not I don't know the direct quote, but like it was referenced. Paddington 2 was referenced in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, the movie. Did you see that?
No, but I've watched your Instagram story today, and you posted that scene.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah, where it's referencing that. It is the perfect movie. I don't remember it, but I remember just like crying at it, and it was amazing. So I thought, let's go see Paddington in Peru. It's okay. It's a kids movie. It didn't hold up, to that one when I started to make that review. But yeah, Paddington's worth mentioning. It's a lovely, quaint little movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, no. What I was gonna say is like, as I was looking up some of like the trilogies, because my mind is slow, obviously, and so I need help looking. I couldn't just pull stuff from my my ass, contrary to popular belief. But I mentioned this to you guys before, but like the old boy, the Korean movie, Old Boy. I didn't know that was part of a trilogy.
Yeah, there's the third.
Yeah, it's called the Vengeance Park Chan Wook's.
The Vengeance Trilogy.
Vengeance Trilogy. Anybody seen any of the other ones?
I've seen Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. I think Jermaine was the one that told me to watch that. And then
Is it same characters and stuff?
I saw
or-
Old Boy first, and I haven't seen Lady Vengeance. But no, I think they're 3 separate stories, but they're by the same director and
Okay.
follow the same themes.
Oh, okay.
Because they're just kind of piggybacking off of like Unbreakable. Like it was nice not knowing that was a trilogy,
yeah,
but that was just one that popped out. And then another one that I think is worth mentioning, although this is just because the same actors are in it, but they call it the Cornetto trilogy. It's Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World Ends.
Edgar Wright. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it The World Ends? Is it?
At the
I
or
wrote
no.
that shit down.
I thought it was At World's End.
The
Is it
World's
At-
End.
The World's End.
The World's
I
End.
love that
'Cause
movie.
At World's End is the one with all the celebrities.
Oh yeah.
And I would always confuse. Did they come out the same year? I feel like I would always confuse them.
It was close enough to be that. Oh, is that movie? No, it's not that movie.
I want a night like that because the World's End was what them just like
Do the bar crawl.
Yeah, the bar crawl, right?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I need to find a place where
infamous
there's
bar
like 7 bars and
But then The World Ends. What newer trilogies? Because a lot of media nowadays, like it suffers from. There's so much stuff coming out, like we don't have time to then rewatch something. But what newer trilogy? I'm kind of just throwing it out there. Do you feel like has any rewatchability to it?
well, I mean, I
Will
don't
you
even know.
sit down and watch the Paddington trilogy again?
Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much media I would go back and rewatch. If they, I would say Dune is getting a third.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's not a trilogy yet, but Dune's getting a third. Like I could see rewatching those 3 movies because I like the first 2 and I'd rewatch the first 2. I was thinking about like the MCU and how like there has been 3 Spider-Mans, there's been 3 Iron Mans. They're not trilogies though. I wouldn't call them trilogies. Spider-Man maybe. Spider-Man has a little bit of
Sam Raimi?
no. That one, yeah, certainly a trilogy. But the Tom Holland Spider-Mans, those 3 were kind of connected, but then there's also like Endgame happened in between.
Yeah.
But even then, like Iron Man 1, 2, 3, like I don't really consider it a trilogy, even though there's 3 of them. Thor has had 4 now, but they're just not connected enough. They don't feel like anything I need to rewatch in that order.
Do you, just a random side question, do you guys miss when it was just like Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, instead of like everything has like a cheeky name to it now?
Oh. Nah, I mean, I don't know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't care either way.
I lose track.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
You
why
guys
they,
know
that-
me.
that's why they gave them cheeky names so you could keep track. Oh, that's
But I
that's
lose
that.
track. I'm like, no, I need to know if this is part 1, 2, or 3. Why was this that one with a funny name in it?
True. I could see that.
I really did get mad at like the Spider-Man always having to have like the home part of the. Why? I don't.
That was the home series. Oh, I was going to say something else. Never
Sorry,
mind.
my brain's all over the place. I'm caffeinated.
Yay, caffeine.
Real quick, I wanted to go back to the like top three trilogies.
Yeah.
I had Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. Indiana Jones, the first 3.
Yep.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Those
Hell
are my
yeah.
absolutely.
Those are my fucking grail, my top 3.
Anybody-
Probably won't be dislodged by any new shit.
Yeah. Anybody
out.
see Back to the Future?
No, but I have that on my list too. That would be 4 for me.
Yeah,
4th
easily.
place.
Oh, so where does Dark Knight fall on?
5th.
Okay, good.
My top 5.
That's a good
And
top
I
5.
and I love Batman. Like, don't get me wrong, those movies are amazing,
Mm-hmm.
amazing. But just that the history, the impact that the other movies had, like, don't allow that movie to crack my top 3. Like,
Is no one gonna give any flowers to the Schumacher Batman trilogy?
did he do 3 of them?
No.
didn't
Burton
do
did,
3 of
Burton
them.
did 2, and then Schumacher did 2.
Yeah, I'm about to say
Don't you hate when your joke gets ruined by facts?
those movies don't even count. After Keaton, like, it was just a fever dream.
It is a shame that Burton and Keane couldn't do a third, because I feel like they
Oh,
could have.
technically was right. Oh,
They did
you're
too.
right.
They were trying to do a 3rd one, and then all hell broke loose. And
Ugh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Didn't Schumacher like openly apologize for those movies?
cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Yes, it is.
Oh, but even like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
That was one that certainly did not land.
It could have
land the
been.
plane.
Spider-Man and Blade, I wanted to put those on my list, but it's always the 3rd movie, man. It's always
I put
It's like
those on my
Delta
list.
landing a plane.
Topical.
Nice.
I put those trilogies on my list with a big old
There'll be another
asterisk
crash by then.
on it of trilogies that just couldn't nail the landing. The Spider-Man trilogy, Men in Black. Their trilogy was like the first movie was really good. The second movie was okay, and the third movie was like, I don't even really remember it.
Yeah, it was all right.
That's certainly just one of those ideas that, like, yeah, 2 movies make sense. You do the first one where Will Smith's like the new guy, and then you do the second one where
And then
he's
you have the cartoon series, and then
yeah.
Love the cartoon series.
that was a
So Men in
that was
Black,
an era.
That animation was really unique.
the
Men in
Blade
Black.
trilogy that he mentioned, the Alien trilogy.
Yeah.
The first 3 movies.
That's one. I
It
don't
was
know
like
if there's any
it
other.
was like good. Holy shit! And then what is this?
And that came out way later. Sorry.
No. That just quickly, like that's one where the tone also changed. Like it sort of switched into genres. Is the
Between 1 and 2, it switched genres.
yeah, it went from horror to
But
just
it
like,
worked.
Yeah, you know, it absolutely worked. But it was so interesting that it to change genres and still because Cloverfield did that too. And I don't know if it would technically be a trilogy.
Cloverfield, I think I read somewhere like the second Cloverfield was not supposed to be Cloverfield. Like it wasn't never originally planned to be linked, but then they just saw a marketing opportunity to link it.
Really? Well,
I thought I said something like that.
oh, I believe you.
And to finish,
could be wrong.
and to finish my thought, hold on. The Terminator, the 3 Terminator
Yeah,
movies.
I was thinking about that too.
It was like one and 2, and then
And then they made like 3 more after
again.
that.
No,
a
wasn't
cocaine fever dream.
Wasn't there a reboot in between 2 and 3? Wasn't one of the reboots like a thing? And then they were like, no, we need to go back and do 3. Let's look that up. No, I want to say because it wasn't
we'll come back to that.
just like 1, 2, and then 3. I'm pretty sure.
We covered Terminator a little bit, and I don't remember if the issue was like they used different types of time travel theory because we covered there's like 5 different types of time travel, you know, and there's a problem with that when it comes to movies. Like Back to the Future, I love Back to the Future, but they use different kinds of time travel.
Yeah.
How you affect your own timeline or whatever. There's branch timeline and then like the same timeline.
And T3 is when they brought on that girl Terminator, right? That was both liquid and yeah. So I think that suffered from like the same idea. Like I don't know why writers feel like, okay, look, the first Terminator he was metal, and then the second one we one upped it with liquid. So the third one we got to one up it again. It's like sometimes the one upping isn't necessarily the excitement. Like the liquid thing was just cool. Like it wasn't exciting because it was a one up. It was fucking cool. They could have gone with like multiple of the like they could have done a lot of things, but just to keep one upping, just I don't know.
The problem with that one is like, do you guys remember the first Terminator? Like the movies like in the 80s like that didn't have like a strong emotional through line. Like part 2 did this whole narration, like, you know, Sarah Connor, she's narrating it and you're feeling it through her as you're watching John Connor. And it's so like they almost like lightning in a bottle. Like they tried something new and they went with it and it worked fantastic. And then 3 came out and you can't continue to have somebody, well, they tried it, you know, having John Connor narrating it kind of, well, that worked over there. And sometimes just these little pieces, little nuances, they try to copy because it is just lightning in a fucking bottle, you know, which is what happens a lot of times. Why even do trilogies or sequels? Because this was actually supposed to be a standalone movie and fuck, dude, it blew up in the box office. You know, it would be nice if we kind of rode that momentum and made a part 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, which
Which is what I think happens when this subsequent movies don't work.
yeah, and it's a shame. I mean, obviously, you know, the writers and the creators of these worlds, because when we're talking about nerd stuff, there generally is a world beyond the story that's being told, and unfortunately, you know, if they don't know that they're going to be making more, if it's going to do well or not, they tell a complete little story, and a lot of times it's amazing. But then, the studios come along and say, "Oh, we want more," and then, I mean, going back to the Matrix, I feel like that's what happened. Is they tell this great tight little story with the Matrix, and it ended with like,
Such
"All right,
a
he's the
tight little
one." He's
story.
leather and everything. And then they were like, "Yeah, we can make more." And so they told more story. But I just remember Matrix hit me hard because it was like they ended that first one with the absolute like Neo's the one, he's gonna save the day. He flew off, like cool, the world's saved. Second one starts like, oh, the one doesn't mean shit.
Yeah. And then for Spider-Man 3, I know Raimi openly apologized for that one because Sony was really getting involved and
I feel like
noting the fuck out of everything.
I feel like the same thing. They were like, let's one up it. Oh, we had 2 villains, all the villains, and people want Venom. Throw them in there.
And like
The guy from that 70s show.
Topher Grace.
Yeah, that
Did not
casting.
work as that.
Yeah, as soon as they announced that, I was like, really? And I'm like, I liked him in that show. Let me give him a chance. And then I saw it, and I was like, look,
Were you blowing yourself or were you throwing up?
trying to swallow myself like a snake. Like the
Impressive.
Earl Burroughs.
Impressive.
He can do it.
Yeah. Sorry though, Rudy. We interrupted you. You were going to say something?
No, I don't even remember now.
Did you? I was hoping you looked up the Terminator thing, but
Terminator 2, Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, which was that weird one with the alternate John Connor, because what's his name?
Bateman?
Got all
Or Christian Bale?
No. Well, the one with the kid, but it had the chick.
Yeah.
With
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
three.
yeah.
So three did
Claire
come.
Danes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Terminator Salvation with Christian Bale was the 2009, which was supposed to be a start of a new trilogy of Terminator films, but then that didn't hit like they wanted it to. And then Genesis, which was the soft reboot of all the events with what's her name from Game of Thrones,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
and then Dark Fate, which I don't remember at all.
That was the cartoon. No, that
No,
was
I do remember Dark Fate. What's with the Genesis one? Fuck.
Genesis was
What
with-
chick from Game of Thrones?
The Khaleesi, what's her name?
Oh, shitballs. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Is it?
Yeah, she was Sarah Connor. That didn't work.
No.
I was going to say Emily Ratajkowski.
How are you drawing a blank on her name? I love her. She's so awesome.
Right.
It's literally Khaleesi. Amelia
Amelia
Clark?
Clark.
Amelia Clark.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shit.
Nice.
4 brains equals half of one.
Yeah.
We
Now that I remember her.
It's like a car trying to turn over.
Oh,
Yeah, I like her. That didn't work.
real quick off topic, but you know how we were talking about the universe that was supposed to be in Cloverfield and all of that other stuff. It was supposed to be A Quiet Place. Was originally gonna
That would have
be
fit.
That would
part
have
of the
really
universe.
fit. We say that now.
But then they decided to no, let's do it like our own.
That's technically a trilogy at this point too,
standalone
right?
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, right now.
It's hard. It's hard.
That's a fine trilogy.
It's hard to take like any modern stuff as a trilogy because they're all made with the intent of making as much as they can now,
Yeah.
right? Ever since Harry Potter did 7 movies or whatever, and I feel like they're all kind of just like, yeah, we can keep doing more, which is good, I guess, if it's a great property. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, aim for 3, aim for 3. The weird
How
one,
about that one?
Everyone's chasing that Star Wars high.
yeah.
They want the franchise. They want the
But even
universe.
Star Wars at least did 3 trilogies, and I think even now they've talking about like, yeah, we want to keep doing trilogy movies. I mean, there's talk about the occasional ones, but I know like Ryan Johnson, I think, was offered a trilogy, and who else? Someone else was offered a trilogy for Star Wars, which is, I think, the way to do it.
J.J. Abrams?
Or was it the Russo
No.
brothers?
Yeah, I think they were offered a trilogy. Speaking of Star Trek, though,
On that Oprah shit.
So
you
Abram-
got a trilogy. You got a trilogy. You got a trilogy.
Star Trek's the weird one though, because there's been 9 movies. No, 12 movies. But so like the new universe stuff, 2 by Abrams and then 1 by Wan. Again, I wouldn't call it a trilogy. They're totally separate. All the other Star Trek movies, they're all generally separate except for 2, 3, and 4. So that's like the one Star Trek trilogy that we have, which is weird to start at 2 because fuck 1. 2, 3, and 4 were the only 3 that actually kind of had a connected story. Where the other Star Trek movies were all just kind of like, here's a Star Trek story, here's a Star Trek story, here's a Star Trek story. That's a great little trilogy. Wrath of Khan is probably the best Star Trek movie there is. But that's where we kind of learned about the Genesis device. The Genesis device went off. Spock died. Sorry, spoiler alert. Star Trek 3 was a search for Spock. It wasn't a great movie, but it was still kind of a continuation of that Genesis idea. And then Star Trek 4 wasn't quite connected to the Genesis story, but they were still on the Klingon ship that they stole. They had to travel back in time to San Francisco in the 1980s and save some humpback whales and bring it back to the future, which is still probably one of the best Star Trek movies. It's also one of the easiest to like introduce anyone. Like if you want to watch Star Trek, watch this one because they're in the 80s. It's a fish out of water story. It's barely Star Trek. You don't really have to know the characters that much, but if you do, it makes it even funnier. Great movie. But that's a fun little trilogy. Like I would watch those 3 Star Treks over and over.
There are 13 Star Trek movies.
Psh, what a loser.
What
you
did
don't
I say?
remember.
14?
You started off with 9,
You started
and
with
then
9,
you said 12.
and you got to 12.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
missed
no,
one.
that's right. Nemesis was 10. So yeah, there was 10.
Oh, sure. Now he remembers.
10 original.
Oh, now he
Like,
remembers.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay. Fuck off. 6 original series cast.
Yes.
Then
Leave
7
all
was a
this
mix
in.
of both with Genesis, and then 8 can suck my balls with
Generations.
Insurrection. No, 7 was Generations. 8 was Insurrection.
I'm looking at this right
Oh
now.
no, 8 was First Contact. 9 was Insurrection, which can suck my balls. 10
Right.
was Nemesis, which I actually liked, but a lot of people hate.
There you
And then you get into Abrams Star Trek, and then you
you
get
go.
into Abrams Star Trek Into Darkness, and then you get into, was it Juan that did Star Trek Beyond?
I don't know.
But-
Jill here just says
Yeah.
You've redeemed yourself.
Star Trek 5.
that was really impressive though.
Star Trek 5 was directed by William Shatner because I think that was an agreement
To
he
the
had to
engine
keep
room.
doing it because Leonard Nimoy got it directed. And
Put your shit back on. It's Star
you
Trek
gotta listen
time,
to this.
baby.
Yeah,
Old callback.
yeah. In Star Trek 5, they went after God.
What?
Yeah, they went after God.
What is God? You just watch it.
Yeah, it was a great line from Kirk.
What makes a trilogy work? Like, what if they know that they're going to go into it? Because, like, yeah, we said, like, I think you said with Men in Black, like, or with the Matrix, like, there's this perfect little neatly told story. And, you know, writers do what writers do and go, I think we could tell more of this because it's this bigger universe, this bigger world. And sure, maybe you have some good writers to do that. I don't know if I can name anything other than, like, Back to the Future trilogy where I felt like they'd had the intention of telling, like, the three stories, like, to be continued and to be continued. And
Star Wars. I mean, the original Star Wars.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
The original Star Wars trilogy, I think, has the recipe down. And I honestly wouldn't care if just every trilogy just used that same recipe. Yeah, the first one with someone getting new, blah, 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 they win. Second one, bad guys win. Third one's the comeback. Like, I think if you're going to tell a 3-part story, that's kind of just the way to do it. Introduce, you know, a couple, sprinkle in some new characters here and there, change things up.
Oh, you know what's about to do that? The animated Spider-Verse series.
If they ever come out with that third one.
That's
Yeah,
gonna be
that one's simmering
That's gonna be
Push back again.
a little too low for me.
Oh no, they can push it back as.
Yeah, but like pushing back to the point where it's like, are they actually going to put it out? Because
Oh, no,
they
they're
keep pushing it
gonna
back.
put
If they're smart, they'll
What do you know?
The way those
What do you
movies-
know?
They'll
Sony
re-release
better
it.
put out.
Majority of Spider-Man.
Those fucking
fans
animated movies are all that Sony has.
love those movies. Those are
Yes,
probably considered
renowned.
the best Spider-Man movie, whether it's an animation or live action.
And they're fumbling the
They're gonna
bag.
put-
Like, I don't understand.
They are.
I don't understand.
Animation's hard.
I mean, I understand that.
Yeah.
But, like, okay, pay the animators.
Maybe they don't
And
wanna-
let's get it out.
The 12-year-olds
Maybe
can
they
only
don't
get
want
paid
that
so
third movie
much.
curse.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That third movie.
I mean,
curse
yeah, I
and
guess there
fuck it
still
up.
is a story. I mean, they set up the story, but there's still like the details to work out, which
Yeah, I heard like they scrapped it. Not like they're done with it, but they were like looking at it like, it's just not gonna work and scrap, which is great.
Hey, I would rather them.
Correct, yeah. But then there's like that, like, come on, you guys said it was gonna, you lose a little bit of faith. I mean, I personally won't be like, fucking, they said this year. I'm still gonna go see it.
well, I mean, one of the benefits of animation,
everybody's gonna
especially
see that.
really good animation, is that it will hold up. They could re-release those first two, like prior to the third one come out, and like they'll probably still make a bunch of money.
Oh, absolutely.
because it is going to be such a long like gap. Pull it off the streaming, then re-release it in the theaters. They'll make money. We'll pay for it.
Sony's really testing my patience, though, this decade. Thank you.
Yeah. He's like,
Ali.
don't you talk about Sony.
Official mascot of the Hypertech podcast.
That shit show.
Ellie. But yeah, like all their fucking Spider-Verse villain movies with no Spider-Man, like I don't understand.
I still haven't watched
Like
any of it.
I get it. Like I get the monetary financial thing. Like they have to release something or else they lose the rights. But come on, man.
Put some fucking thought into it.
I saw a clip from Craven. I haven't watched the movie, but I saw
Me
a clip
neither.
that I swear I was like, at first I was like, people were laughing at it, or like saying like this is an actual thing. I'm like, this has got to be AI. Like there's no way this is in the fucking movie. Reading the comments, people were like, yeah, I lost my shit in the theater. I was just like, what?
Yeah, dude.
What? Like that made the cut? Like,
I think I've
Lord.
said it before where it's like, just as far as Craven is concerned, is it was just bad for bad sake, as opposed to like Madam Web was laughably bad, and you can enjoy it with people. Craven was just outright bad.
that's such a shame. And the trailers made Craven the one that I was like, I'll go watch this. I didn't, but that's insane. And it's like, it's weird because, not to go off like on a big tangent on this, it's like that something like Craven, I feel like shouldn't be that hard to do.
What's
Like it's a straightforward.
yeah? So many other people like broken it down. It's like, dude, the formula was there for that character, and he just flipped it around. He's like a nature conservationist. He's actually killing the bad guys to help nature. You're like, what are you doing? Not only that, but like the actors that are in it went on to actually star in like really great movies, like Aaron Taylor Johnson, right?
Yeah.
He was then in a Nosferatu, and then the guy who played Rhino was in The Brutalist, and other than Ariana DeBose, who played Calypso. Calypso. She just sucks.
I don't know if that's character or not, but
It is Calypso.
that
Yeah,
name.
she's
Calypso's
just
from Twisted
bad.
Metal.
She's just not good. And then do away Hollywood, do away with her. She's no good.
Wow.
But everyone else in there is like good. The guy that plays his younger brother was in Gladiator 2 as like one of the two Caesars. But it just goes to show you, like, you can have decent or really good actors, and then you put them through the fucking gauntlet with shitty scripts. It's like, dude, generally an actor can only take a script from like a C to a B, maybe.
Yeah.
C minus to B minus, but no more than that. Bad script is bad script.
But to answer your earlier question about the formulas for a trilogy,
Yeah.
I think I get that. Writing it out as a 3-part thing seems like it would make the most sense. But I don't think Indiana Jones was written as a cohesive 3 parts. Right? I think they did one, and this character landed with the audience. Let's do another one. Oh, let's do another one. That and those 3 work. I mean, I don't know what the fuck happened to the last 2, but those those first 3 work, and they work really well.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of getting a great character that has like a great setup. Like, here's a cool character. He's an archaeologist that's mostly just trying to be an archaeologist, and then that setup leads him into crazier shit.
I will say one that a trilogy that was supposed to happen, and it breaks my heart because we'll probably never get it, which was the Conan trilogy, because there was
It's very loud.
there was
Yeah, turn that down, sorry.
like a third King Conan Iron Crown, or something like that. The first movie is for me, that shit is a masterpiece of a movie, story wise, character wise, villain wise. I know everybody has like their Star Wars and their Back to the Future and yada yada yada. Conan the Barbarian, that shit is my what's the movie again? Rosebud.
No.
Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane. Conan the Barbarian is my fucking Citizen Kane. Like, hands down. I know it's an old school movie. I know it has that vibe, but when you literally sit there and watch the movie, just the way Arnold plays the character, but the way it was written, James Earl Jones, how he played the character, just
Own the hell out of that hairdo.
man. But
Sensual.
the ending, like everything with like the riddle of steel and just like his serpent eye, just everything about that movie, masterpiece. And when I say masterpiece, I mean like damn near like Matrix ish, like first movie masterpiece, brilliant. And then they come out with part 2, Conan the Destroyer. This is when Hollywood is like, oh, I'm gonna put my hand in there, because it became a star-studded movie. They were like, they do this with things like when they come out with Ninja Turtles,
There's a trilogy.
the pizza wasn't a part of their culture, their thing, but they were like, we have to put something in here, to sell, to market. So when Conan the Destroyer came out, they had all these stars in there, and it lost that genuine, like heart that the first movie had. And it didn't do so well. But granted, my younger self, I liked that movie because it was a guilty pleasure. it was just this the Conan story, the high adventure. They're going to face this wizard, and then he's in the little glass room, and he has to fight this monster. And then he's breaking the glass, and you find out that the monster is linked to the glass. All that stuff. It had cool little moments. The horn with the beast at the end. I love when Conan destroys the monster, and then his little sidekick guy comes over and fucking stabs him when he's already dead.
And they give him his own like music flourish. Like,
Yeah, all that stuff. But oh man, the fucking music.
I gotta add that to the list. Shit.
But
and Olivia Diabo is the princess in that one.
Yeah. But
Looking it up.
it just lost the heart that the first movie had. Like, beautiful movie. Then we got part 2, and then it just fizzled out. But it was years of talk of there were supposed to be like an old man Conan movie, because it ends with him in his throne. Him.
Oh yeah.
Is it Conan the Conqueror or something?
Yeah,
like
like
that?
he finally had his kingdom, but of course, he had, didn't have his girl, because it's Valeria, I believe that was her name. She was the one who died in the first movie. But yeah, man, it's just been so much talk and rumor about a King Conan Iron Crown, with him defending his kingdom as like old man Conan, but
Was there not talks of bringing that
he
back?
would have probably died. And
They did the reboot.
No,
Yeah,
no,
they
no,
did
but
the-
like,
Yeah.
Oh no,
Schwarzenegger.
no,
Oh,
they've been
yeah.
talking about bringing him back. Like that was like a hot like. Oh no, we're gonna do it! Like it's something.
And-
Oh,
The comics have done it. Like there's a King Conan comic that is older Conan and stuff like that.
I was ready for that.
We're in the era of making sequels 30, 40 fucking years after
Yeah.
a thing. So
and still somehow that one's falling through the cracks.
so what you're saying is there's a chance.
Conan.
It's not a no.
I don't know.
So maybe.
Conan was one of those characters that I think, yeah, a trilogy would have been perfect, but I also feel like he's one of the few characters that really they could have done more than 3.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because the original Conan was like a collection of short stories, and each of those little short stories was a great little moment that could have easily been a movie of like, this is Conan getting. I mean, it was essentially like each time was a kind of a quest.
Yeah.
We need you. Like sometimes he was a thief. We need to go. We
Yeah.
need you to go steal this. Sometimes it was a matter of like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
oh wait, these people are invading. I like these people. I'm gonna defend this castle, or
he's a smart character. Like he's not that quote unquote like brute barbarian that you typically read about
yeah.
or you see in a story. He's well versed in languages and fighting styles and all kind of other things. But fuck that first movie.
a hell of a
I
rave
love
dancer.
that fucking.
I mean, it's unfortunate that like probably a lot of people will just see him as the grunting barbarian, and they shouldn't. To your point, you go back and read any of those short stories. Like it's shocking that Hollywood hasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried, but also when Momoa's Conan was like during the 3D phase, it was we filmed it in 3D, so there's a bunch of stupid. Like everyone put on your glasses.
His pecs are in 3D.
Yeah, it's there's really no reason that they couldn't just adapt some of those short stories and just pump out Conan movies. It'd be awesome. To that point of a character that has had more than 3 movies, I would say John Wick. I would love that they're making more and more John Wicks. There's a part of me that kind of like that would have been a nice clean little trilogy if they had had a 3 movie story planned out, him coming out of retirement, him fucking things up, bad guys win or whatever, they could have told a really clean story. At the end of the day, they've done a great job with all the movies, so I'm not actually complaining, but like if John Wick came out like in like 20 30 years ago, that probably would have been a like tight
tight,
little
yeah.
trilogy.
And then we did get the Continental series. We got that. What was it? ABC
Peacock?
Yeah, you know me.
with
or
the
Peacock Continental series?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, one of those.
Happy
Yeah,
Black History Month.
we absolutely just dated ourselves. Okay.
Yeah, the Continental didn't work, right?
I haven't even watched it.
Oh,
I was
man.
so excited for it, but I heard it was garbage.
Even after
I
all
really didn't
the
dive into it.
bad mouthing that I got, I tried to watch the first couple of episodes and I just couldn't. Like,
Was it the
just-
writing bad, the storytelling?
It was just the story didn't hook you. Like
Yeah.
it was just like,
It's a
what is
shame.
this?
Did it feel forced?
It's because they kind of approach it at like an angle. Like you don't. It's not the Continental. It's about what's his name, Winston.
Yeah.
Winston.
It's more his story. kind of like leading him into that world as opposed to he's already in that world and there's this whole thing. Like they kind of approach it obliquely, and the first 2 episodes that I watched, I'm like, okay, this is taking too long.
I feel like, not to go off on a John Wick tangent.
Yeah.
I feel like
I feel
like
how you feeling?
the first John Wick was awesome because like all that extra world stuff was kind of just sprinkled in and allowed us to fill it in ourselves, and we could have our nerd conversations about it. As they've explored more and more of it, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, all right. So then like something like Continental, like I was excited for, but then part of me was also just like, I don't know if I need this backstory. Like I don't know if I need, like, let me just fill it in, right? It's kind of like how people, like when Solo, the Star Wars movie came out, there was a lot of that kind of thing. Just like, I don't know if I need Han Solo's backstory. I mean, I'm sure the books and stuff covered it, but
And like excitedly, because we love content and exploring the world, and we go, well, it'd be cool, right? We would like to see it. It's like, but the addendum is like, I would like if somebody wrote it fucking well, because you can't tell these things. But if somebody wrote it well, because I feel like Hollywood is like, shoot first, aim later, where they go, that's a. I heard it in an elevator. That's a great idea. It's like, yeah, but have you expanded more on? Wouldn't it be cool to have a sequel? He's still alive, still doing his thing. Okay, yeah, but what's the story to tell?
yeah. And that's where someone like Tolkien with Lord of the Rings, I feel like even some of the stuff that was partially mentioned, he probably had a huge backstory for, written. But yeah, something like John Wick, I'm curious how much they really thought out all that stuff, or they just kind of wrote it for the first one and were like, yeah, we don't need to expand on it, like it's a thing. And
which as far as John Wick is concerned, and this isn't shitting on it or anything like that, but it's a pretty simple story.
Yeah,
Redemption story, and guys, leading up to him kicking ass, which is great and it's fun and was done very well. If it's in any other trilogy where you are focusing on like the emotional weight of that particular character and the trials and tribulations that they're going through, let's sit with it. Like writing a prequel for the Continental and be like, no, yeah, you're right. Like, well, again, not that we needed it, because I think
it could have been amazing.
Yeah, because I think you and I kind of always go like, well, I mean, who needs fucking whatever, right? But it would be not, because who needs it? But if they do it well, you're like, I needed that. I'm glad that they did that thing.
Yeah.
When they do it well, if they do it well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I don't know what I said. Exactly what?
I do have
Ditto.
2, well, was 3. I know Doug mentioned the Turtles. That's one of my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trilogy. That's like a guilty pleasure. Third one, once again.
Yeah, that was certainly one that had like the tonal shifts.
Yeah. But RoboCop, once again, the first one, second one.
Tonal shifts again.
That third movie, that shit hurt my heart.
Yeah.
But I've watched that first movie thousands of times, millions of times. But my true guilty pleasure of a trilogy is the quote unquote like Man with No Name, who's that Clint Eastwood series.
Oh yeah,
is phenomenal. Like me and my stepdad would just sit there and watch that shit. Like,
is that the Fistful of Dollars, the Man with No Name, and
for a few more dollars, like
Good, the Bad, the
whatever
Ugly,
it was called. Yeah,
there's another one, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and some other ones.
Is a Good, Bad, the Ugly not part of that?
Yeah, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly is a part of that.
I came across that one too, but I
that,
didn't
that
write it down.
trilogy.
Huh.
That's
I'll have to watch that.
That's a good series. Of course, it's old school, but it's just
the spaghetti western
written, well. But it's just one of those movies that if I feel like if you're not a fan of westerns and the way that the story is told and how it's laid out and played out, it might not grab you. But because it was one of those things that I watched when I was younger, so I love it like Conan the Barbarian. But but that's like up there in my series with a parallel, not really parallel, but the Robert Rodriguez.
Don't do it. I have it written down.
Desperado series.
Fuck you.
You
son of a bitch.
I had that on my list.
I love the shit out of that series
because I wanted to ask you if you saw the original.
Yes.
Mariachi.
Yeah.
I have that shit on DVD. Like,
Oh, it's got on DVD,
bruh,
so he
bruh,
fucking
bruh.
knows about it.
We're whipping it out, everybody.
It got on
bro.
fucking DVD.
it is crazy because that first movie was just, you know, just I feel like Robert Rodriguez is like kind of like love letter because he fucking filmed that movie with like one camera to
Fucking VHS.
So
camera.
many-
like $30.
Yeah.
so
and a
many
dream.
angles and,
Yeah.
and like so many
That's-
shots that he had to film, but he used to draw out like his storyboards and he's one of those directors, writers, you know, whatever you want to say. The way how he draws his storyboard, it's almost comic book esque. So you can
Got it.
see there's a scene in Desperado where they're on top of the burning building and they gotta, you know, run out, but he throws Selma Hayek's character and he's about to jump, but he kind of turns around
They have
and
the
almost about to
chains?
slip, and he like kind of pulls out his gun and like shoots.
Oh, yeah.
or whatever.
With Antonio Banderas and his
Yeah.
long hair. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
But it's just one of those things like when you see the storyboard for that, you're like, okay, I see how
Yeah.
you got that there. But Antonio Banderas, one of my favorite actors of all time. But
He was in Paddington in Peru.
oh,
Swear to God.
Next,
But yeah,
join
but
us next
the,
episode where we review.
Break down Antonio Banderas
Give him that.
movies.
Man.
What's the move where he
Spy
goes?
Kids?
oh, Spy Kids, all that shit.
God, Desperado's so good. I mean,
Desperado is, man, like the little characters, like even like his homeboys that come in at the end, you know, with their with their guitar cases and
yeah.
and then the third one is where a lot of people kind of fall off.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Once Upon a Time, yeah. Like it was okay for what it was, but
it wasn't as action packed as Desperado. Because it's quite
It
some
was
years
a
after.
little over the top ish, like
Way over the
character wise.
top-ish. Way
But
over the top.
I'll try to be kind.
but it kind of hurt me because of like the way that the second
fun
one
way.
ended with him rolling off with his girl and all that stuff, and then the third one comes and you're like, oh, she's not even around.
I know.
I was like,
Salma Hayek, by the way, in her
But it was-
fucking prime. She's
but
forever
it was
been in her prime,
mainly because the character was dead inside.
though. Okay.
Like he was
thought you were
just
talking about Salma
dead
Hayek.
inside. So that's what kind of killed, I guess, the vibe
Yeah.
for like a lot of people because he wasn't who he was in, you know, the first two movies. Even though the first one was played by a different actor, you know, then they got more money and then they got, you know, Antonio Banderas. But it's just the fact that, like, it's almost like Obi-Wan, the series. They're like, bro, he's not Obi-Wan. I'm like, yeah, because he's broken, bro. You saw what he did to his brother. He's not gonna come back and be, you know, that guy. But that was what Once Upon a Time, L,
Yeah.
like he lost his heart.
It means the.
Are you a Mexican or a Mexican?
I'm a fucking Mexican, man.
Oh, that's from a movie. I just thought that was something racist people said. Damn it!
Upstairs people.
What's so fun about that movie is that in the first
Not all
one,
racist.
he just happens upon this, like, you know, this cartel gang situation and, you know, tries to shoot his way out of it. So he's not really like a sharpshooter. He just like, oh crap, what am I getting into? And then something between the first movie and Desperado is like now become this like legendary, this legend like was built in between the two movies, which is
the man
awesome.
with no name, like
Yeah, so
a sense.
good.
cinematic.
Oh
Beauty.
man, the
Beauty.
90s.
Beauty.
That's the 90s incarnate right there.
Beauty.
Miramax, I think.
I still love that scene where he's in that bathroom. I've probably said this, you know, where
Yeah,
he says his
yeah.
prayer
Oh,
and he's in there and his face is in the light and then he like fades into the shadow because he's about to go do, you know, this diabolical thing. Brilliant.
Yeah.
The way that shit was, it needs to be studied. It needs to be studied. No, like I'm dead ass. This is my New York side coming out. Dead ass. Those are the type of movies that, besides Conan, like Desperado, there's a few gems in there that I rewatch strictly for just the way that, like, the love that the director, you know, puts into the movie, the little details, like all that stuff just makes the movie like just breathe different from other.
That's why Robert Rodriguez's movies have that feeling, is because he's the guy that had the fucking, he only spent a couple $100s on the movie, and with just his own camera, like he had to edit in camera. Because even know how to do that back in the day, VHS. It's fucking. You need to know your shots, and time it. But that's to that point is like, guy had nothing, needed the story to be told, and fucking went out and did it. And I love that he's giving people that are starting a chance on his. He had a channel, right?
I think he had something like that. I don't remember what it was, but to also give Robert Rodriguez a little side credit, sprinkle some love on him. But when we were getting Boba Fett,
Oh yeah.
Robert Rodriguez was the one that directed the episode where we got the
that's
reveal.
right.
That's why that shit was so beautiful,
dude.
and I was ready for the Boba Fett series. I was like, if he's coming out like this series is about to be ridiculous. But no.
And before we go to you, Doug, you have to mention his partnerships with Quentin Tarantino. Two people that are cinephiles, to put it lightly.
Oh yeah.
I was just gonna say, movies back in the day, I think there was still that push to see what they could do with a camera on set, like how they could push it, and obviously nowadays people are still doing it, and then they're pushing CGI more and more and more, which their vision can come to life in CGI, but I think it's different from what you envision and you can just make happen versus what you envision and that you can actually do, and you can actually make that shot, and then of course budgeting and stuff like that.
Sure, and I like that as far as just to talk, effects and stuff. I like that there was that, like, we could do that, and then you actually need artistic vision and detail. Let's take it back and do some practical real quick. Then, has that French Warner film come out yet?
The zombie one?
I think so.
Yes, I think it's on Shudder. We haven't watched it yet. I think I read kind of bad reviews, so I kind of went off. But I do want to watch that. There was another one.
I'm so glad you brought up.
Oh, we watched the Samurai Oneer.
Oh,
That one was funny. So.
That's another one. But not a trilogy.
I know. I was like, what?
But just
As he points at the Tombstone poster that's off
that's
camera.
another movie right there.
So I think I only have one more trilogy on my list that we haven't covered.
Cool, go for it.
This one's kind of like I don't want to say a throwaway, but it's not normally talked about when you talk about like big trilogies. The Naked Gun trilogy.
Yeah, I have that here too. Motherfucker. Hell yeah.
22 and a half and then 33 and a third.
Yeah, I was doing my research and I'm like, hell yeah. I love those.
It's coming
movies.
back
Is
with
it really?
Liam Neeson.
Is it really?
Yeah. That's the guy to do it. Honestly, like,
Yeah, deadpan delivery, just goofy.
which you've seen him in other roles. Like, he popped up in Ted, and he's like, "No, this serial says it's for kids.
Oh yeah.
I'm obviously not a kid. I'm an adult.
I feel
Will
like
there be authorities coming after me?"
I feel like today's audience they're not gonna like it.
Here's the thing. I don't know how it's going to be received, but we've gone dry with these types of comedies. Like, I want it back again. Like, the Wayans are back in with the scary movies. I think we've all been hungry for it, and I don't know. It may be a very niche audience.
Yeah,
But I've been wanting it. Like, one of the Farrelly brothers, one half of them made a movie that went straight to streaming called Ricky Stenicki.
Oh, that movie's fucking great.
It's fucking hilarious, right?
Movie's fucking great.
Remember when movies were like that? They're just completely outrageous. So we don't know that we've been missing it.
But that's still entirely different than Naked Gun and like the airplane movies and stuff like that. Like those were just ridiculous, fourth wall breaking, just stupid,
Completely wacky.
There is a show, I don't
Hot Shots.
think it's
Those
streaming.
are good. I wish they made
We
a
cover
third
parodies.
of that. Yeah.
There is a show. What's Quincy Jones's daughter, Rashida Jones? It's called Angie Tribeca, and it's basically like Police Squad, which is the show that the Naked Gun movies came from, and that it's highly meta, very winky at the camera. Famous actors. I mean, Alfred Molina plays like the kind of like the more tech science guy, in the lab. So like those things do exist, but like I said, I think it's a niche audience. So
Yeah.
it'll hit. But I've said it before. Like I like when properties or movies or media is like, no, this is not going to be for everybody. This is for the people that are actually going to enjoy it.
Yeah, which hopefully that's the budget that they aim for, so they don't consider it a flop, right?
Well,
Like,
yeah, Liam Neeson.
yeah. I just like in today's world, we're so geared to analyze everything and check for this. I saw someone. This is a complete tangent, I guess. Someone was recently talking about the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. And they were saying how it's like, yeah, the fans kind of ruined that because instead of just focusing on like the cool rhymes and the great insults, it was just like, this isn't accurate. Or like, they were trying to break it all down. It's like, no, it's about a cool rhyme. It's a cool rhyme that pisses somebody off. Like that's how a beef works. And I feel like you look at any media, any movie and stuff that comes out, there's just this like need and desire to break down everything. And then it's like if you do a movie where they literally walk like in front of the like behind the camera or something like that, people like I think people's brains are going to break down. Bring it back around to trilogies. Like that's why I think like John Wick worked is because it was such a step away from the highly impossible to the very probable and realistic way that he's clearing rooms and doing his judo. Yeah, he knows his judo well. Bullets with his suit. Yeah, that's the fourth one. And I also was like, what the? Everyone's got a fucking bulletproof suit, but like
he knows his judo well. Stupid.
Slipped it in there. What? I know on your list you had what movies deserve a trilogy? Anything at the top of your mind?
No.
I don't have anything either. I wish I had more time.
I know what
because it was a great list, and I was like, I don't have time to prep that.
I know what series I wish would have only been a trilogy.
Okay.
The Underworld with Kate Beckinsale.
How many they do?
Yeah, but say how many movies did that
like
go?
6 of those movies.
Yeah, they started pumping them out.
That's another guilty pleasure. But
To me, it only exists as
A
three.
lot of those
Rise
movies
of the
suffer.
Lycans.
Three would have been a great. They could have easily told, and again, they could have stuck to the Star Wars formula, and I think it would have been amazing.
Likens, more like don't likens.
Noise.
So let's land the plane. Let's land the plane right there.
Real quick, video games. I would say Warcraft 1, 2, and 3. I think set the stage for RTS.
God of War 1, 2, and 3.
God of War 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I think that like there's a few video games like trilogies that probably deserve a shout out. Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3. I think are like the gold standards of 2D side scrollers and stuff like that. So
Metal Gear Solid 3. Metal Gear Solid Delta, August 28th.
Yes, it's coming out.
They finally dropped a release date for that.
I was gonna say Metal Gear, but we got a 4th one, so. Damn, I fucking.
yeah, and that's the thing with video games is very few of them stopped at 3. Very very few of them like told a complete story within 3 or anything like that. So anyway.
All right.
That's a good place to end.
Well,
That
as
was
we
a hell
land
of
that, how's everybody feel being back for the 3rd season? Because when we came back for the 2nd season, we're like, okay, we're doing it, we're starting it. I didn't feel, the celebration. I didn't feel the excitement.
The
season?
celebration of us.
Yes, why not?
I was
And
gonna,
the first season, we had a fucking,
A party.
a party,
Yeah.
a fucking great party.
well, I was gonna see if you guys wanted to go out this weekend,
I can't.
but you're like, yeah, you're busy. Everyone's busy.
What am I
That's
doing this weekend?
Yeah,
No, we got.
Oh, no.
Partying?
Yeah, I'll be in San Diego.
partying. We don't party. We're 40.
No, but I mean, it would have that level of party.
There'll
But,
probably be some alcohol, but I don't know.
We'll get some cake and a couple shots.
I do actually enjoy. I'll speak for myself, Jermaine. Is I do enjoy hanging out with you guys without a microphone in front of my face. You know what I mean? So, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's totally it's great. It's totally fine. It's amazing. No, but we should probably get together for a little celebration because I am excited to be back here.
Yeah.
If you are listening, the 3 of you at this point, 2 maybe, we have changed up our format a little bit. We are going
All the
right in.
confidence this season.
I'm absolutely excited for this format change. So I think the hype attack was just a little too girthy in our first 2 seasons. It's just
I've never heard.
That's a lot. It's a lot to swallow in one shot. We're doing almost 2-hour episodes.
Yeah.
Some people don't have the bandwidth for that, and I'm absolutely one of them. Like I'll listen back to our own stuff, and I'll be like, "Wow,
Rogan can do 3.5 hours.
they really should have landed this plane a while ago."
Well, yeah, and
We'll be more punchy.
I'm excited to get right into the topic because again, I think if people are looking to actually hear a specific topic, it's nice to be able to get right into that. But we are going to save the end of the show for similar to how we began the shows in the past with what we're hyped about or anything like that, or what anyone has to say, or if there's a rant or something new that they want to promote or whatever. Like, I feel like it's a good time to do it at the end of the show, but we're going to try to be a little less lengthy and girthy and
So actually,
hitting you deep in the nerd.
We do want to like spin off
gotta hit
what
that nerd spot.
what we're hyped about, your nerd news or whatever, into its own little segment, and we're going to be experimenting with that. So
which, by the way,
look forward to that in the socials.
Because I do a second thing, a whole separate podcast, but also movie reviews. Because my little corner was a movie corner, and I now do a podcast and reviews with my wife. And it was once Forehead Films. And sorry, Rudy, for having you make this mat that has at Forehead Films.
Jackass.
It's now at YHST Pod. Where we do movie reviews on TikTok and Instagram. So like that's what I've been doing since our break, is just kind of like figuring that shit out, and it's been a lot of fun. So when we get to talk movies like this, like I really get excited because it's it's my world.
It's your wheelhouse.
Oh yeah, like, I always wanted to ask you too. When you did start, earlier, I was like, man, he is taking on a wide look. I was like, why are you doing so much?
So
He could take on a wide load.
You got to stretch.
in between the smile and sad face, I could take a lot. No, I mean originally because your guys' knowledge is like so much more vast, and I was just only. But you do it well, and mine is only in the movie world, but barely. And so I wanted to acknowledge that I don't know a lot about movies, but I enjoy them, and so that's why the other podcast I do is called "You Haven't Seen That," because I have like 170 plus movies on that list that people ask me the question, "You haven't seen that?"
Is it really up to 170?
It's like 175 now.
Jeez.
And now you guys have talked about like the Man with No Name and Conan, so like I'm continuously adding more.
Have you not seen the Conan movies?
No.
Get the fuck out.
Jeez.
But it is why
Well,
he's one
that
of those.
show.
That's going to be a movie night.
Kill his mind.
But it is exactly why.
His mic or him?
Whoa! But it's exactly. Damn it. Never mind. At YHST, anywhere podcasts are found. That's why I do the shows, because I want to be more cultured. I want to learn.
Oh yeah, no, we are absolutely having a Conan viewing party for sure, shirtless.
Well, like I was
Glow sticks optional.
for
Yeah.
like a year and some
I will
change.
rent a camel that we can punch.
I was doing.
Was that the first one or the second one?
Stop spoiling it.
Sorry, shit.
I was
I think it
doing.
was the second.
I was doing like actual like full movie breakdowns because I wanted to get into all the little bits of it, and it was a lot, and I was kind of killing the fun for myself. And then we started just having like conversational movie reviews, which have been a lot more fun. And those are really short and really punchy with segments and stuff, which is different from this, which is more conversational. And I can kind of like rely on you guys if you're just like with all the knowledge. Otherwise, I have to like have a whole list of things here. But that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been hyped about lately.
Right on,
Nice.
Yeah,
guys.
at YHST Pod.
Nice, good plug. We need like the Batman butt plug hype attack, like whenever a plug happens. I still go back and forth between like making a video game, some sort of video game content somewhere, but
Over the break, what have you guys been up to?
fucking nothing. No, I've been playing video games.
I absolutely took my time off and like just walked away from everything and like I'm watching TV, I'm reading books, I'm doing other stuff besides thinking about content. But now that I'm back, like I'm like shit.
Yeah,
The switch is flipped,
you knock the rest off.
and I want to do stuff.
Yeah, we bought the teleprompter towards the end of season 2, but same thing. During the break, part of me was like, "Oh, I should be making it." I was like, "Nope, I'm taking the break."
It's
taking
good,
the break.
it's good to put it down and walk away and do other stuff, and then come back to it fresh.
Yeah, today I made a new little wallpaper and everything like that. I was like I'm trying to trigger my creative mind again.
Trying to get them juices flowing.
That's why I was like continuing to do stuff, because like
Floating
once I
juices.
stop, I like enjoy the nothingness. I'm like, no, I have to keep
nothing.
practicing it.
Yeah,
Ra-
I have been
Rachel's
trying.
to drag me into her bed rotting, and I'm like, I can't. Like I have to like elbow crawl my way out of there. Like, no,
Rot maxing is too easy.
So gross.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. I was gonna say I have been trying to play more video games. I want to spend this year trying to actually beat games and experience different genres and stuff like that. Because for a while, like I'm still stuck on WoW WoW's life.
Get him a fucking shirt already.
I know,
I'm
I
gonna
know.
make a
Seriously,
supercut of all
yeah.
these.
He's begging for it now. When's your birthday come out?
September 16th.
Yeah, it's near.
Yeah. It's going to go by in a blink because I'm drunk. But, you know, so it's been fun to like I finished The Last of Us 2. I cannot wait for the show to come out so I can start talking about it because that mind blowing. Those two games, but that one, I'm with Jermaine. Fuck that bitch. I don't want to give it too much away because the show's going to come out. I don't want to spoil anything, but like,
Speaking of,
I think
it's
as soon
almost
as I
time for me
did
to
it,
go back to purgatory
yeah.
to beat her up again.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, that game had a photo mode, so I would get stuck on photo mode quite a bit because any game that has one, I just get stuck.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, Cyberpunk's still probably the best. And Spider-Punk, or Spider-Punk, Jesus Christ. Cyberpunk, they even added more to the photo mode now. So, like, I just want to uninstall the game because I don't want to go back to it because I will not play it. I will just be in photo mode. But anyway, I did, like, during that boss fight, I took a picture in photo mode and then I sent it to Jermaine. I was like, I fucking get it. I fucking get it. I don't know if I kept my save right before it like
With
you did.
pain.
No, actually, I uninstalled the game immediately because I needed to make room. But
Like, I think I like had like, bro, like the fire, like just thinking about that shit makes me want to get watery eyed. But I
Puts that fire in your belly. It's
man,
fun.
like I
One Saba season.
I gave it to her so good at the end of that game.
oh yeah, no,
Pun intended.
yeah.
Go to the first season where we talk about that. That's so fun.
When that show's over, I mean, well, unfortunately though, I don't think they're gonna finish the game story in this season, which is still gonna suck. But like, I cannot wait to talk to non-gamers about that. And I know I'm years late to playing that game, but now that I've done it, it's like it's certainly, I think, going to be one of those moments that, like, of all the media options you have to tell a story, this one as a game, top.
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
Oh, yeah.
This is, I think, the example of how a game can tell a story better than any other media. Is that specific game?
And it's just the story, man. I know we go, to talk about all these movies and, like bad movies, good movies, and, video games, bad or good. But, man, The Last of Us, once again, if you can write a good story, get people, attached to these characters, but also get that recipe right with the gameplay and just the way that everything flows, and the cinematic scenes, and then you go back into action, and you go back into the cinematics. It tells a really good story. The Last of Us is probably up there with Metal Gear for me as it like my favorite video games of all time. Story wise is the main purpose. Like, it just gives you kind of like everything that you want in a game perfectly too. So
yeah, and it's certainly a good argument for how, every game doesn't need to be a huge open world game. It can just be like, play this game, play this story.
Oh, yeah.
Here's options how to do it, and here's some things. But the other game I just started is Lost Records. I won't go too much into it, but it's set in 1995, so the nostalgia is strong for me. You play as a teenager in 95, and just the music that's playing, I found a Magic Eye book, the things that you used to see at the mall, and really dating myself here, and you had to cross your eyes or whatever to see it. Like, one of the first missions is like to take a VHS back to the rental store. It's like, oh man, I love the 90s so much. This is my life.
nice.
But yeah, I'll probably do something else on that or talk about it later because that game is awesome.
What would you get up to between the break?
Man, I've been working on a dream. I really finished my novel that I've been working on forever, but I'm in the middle right now. I was probably, I don't know, maybe halfway done with it when we stopped, but for like those breaks, I haven't been doing shit, but that.
That's awesome.
And it's one of those things like where you start to understand and you get the love, like how you like your like your series that you like from other know creators and stuff.
Yeah.
Like when you get that like with your own shit, like it's amazing. But it's one of those things like where I finished it, but I'm going back and I'm rereading it, and I'm halfway through. I've made some minute like little changes to it because I know the story, ins and outs, like all the cracks and crevices. So when you reread it, because it's one of my favorite movies, The Matrix. Like when you rewatch The Matrix and you go back and you're like, oh, they talked about copper top, and like, oh, that's the reference to the Duracell battery. You get all these things that you didn't catch before. So when you go back, and now that I'm rereading it, I'm like, oh, I could fix this to make that have more of an impact, because you start to like I'm telling you, like once you get that groove, you're in it
Now,
and you see like it's like a spectrum of just like I can't describe it, but it's just one of those things that if you have a passion for something, you'll just like shit'll just start to line up, and you'll see like it's almost like one
you're
of
not
those
mailing
things
anything in.
Like I can just describe it as like a sculptor is sculpting like a stone, like that shit's already in there, like he's just bringing it out. And it's one of those
Great
like
description.
where I wrote this story, and it's like everything that I really wanted to put into a story, but it's one of those things like as I'm writing it, I have moments like, who fucking wrote this shit? I'm like, oh, me.
Now,
I wrote that shit.
That's awesome.
going back to the
That's so cool.
statue analogy, statue's not without its cracks. How do you, as the creator of this, the novelist, the author, how do you look at it with a critical eye and not allow yourself to become precious about all these things?
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
Because like how we watch movies, the shit that we love becomes our teacher, like our like school, our 101 classes. So because of my journey from like in cartoons, from like the 80s and 90s, my Thundercats, Ninja Turtles and all that, but gradually going into shows and like Power Rangers, anime, new age stuff, Avatar: The Last Airbender, video games, Metal Gear, movies, Matrix, you look at things and you can like look at your own story, and honestly, there's shit that you can like look at, you're like, oh, like you want to put that in there, but at the same time you're like, even though your heart is telling you like, like damn, that shit is, like it's more so for me,
Right.
but does it make sense? No. So then you just have to take it out.
But where did you learn that ability from? Like, is this your first novel? Have you written other stuff before? Because that sounds like something from someone who's written before.
Well, it's from listening to directors talk, writers talk, people talking about like their own journey with their stories, and I was one of those guys who used to watch like the DVDs, about like the editing and the commentary and all that stuff. Like, oh, like while the movie's playing, you're like, oh, what we really wanted to do here. And I was just like,
nice.
So you kind of get the feedback for all that stuff, and you in your head, like, if it's a thing that you can put in there or take out and maybe leave it for later. But it's one of those things that you just have to kind of learn how to play with the story. And it's because I've had the story for over a decade. Like, it's not like a magical thing that just happened, but I wrote like a very like skeletal, like script and whatnot, and then I kind of turned that into a novel, so that kind of made it easier. But it's just one of those things. Like I said, like it became fun. Like it was torturous just sitting there. Like,
Don't you love that feeling, by the way, when you're creating something and maybe it's work, and then you switch the tone of it or how you're attacking it, and then it becomes fun. You go, oh shit, it was there the whole time.
You have to look at it differently. Like regardless, it's still work. Like it's discipline. Like I watch stuff with Kat, and then when we're done, I'm like, I gotta go to the Nook for like 3 hours, the 4 hours, and then get my shit done. Like because like I really want to get this thing done, and
that's awesome.
That's amazing, dude. Well, congratulations.
So that's what I've been doing. But besides that, because I finally finished it, and now I'm just doing like a reread. I finally diving into The Expanse. I'm like halfway through the first season.
The betrayal.
I think Amazon just pulled like the first 3 seasons or something.
No, it's still on Amazon.
Is it all of it?
Yeah.
Oh, did they change their mind? Because they like
No.
because when we recorded, I looked it up and it was like that day.
yeah.
It's I believe it's still on Amazon because I think I'm watching it through Amazon, but they have commercials in there now.
Oh, so maybe they were just taking it. Okay, yeah, all right.
So it's one of those things that you might have like 3 commercials throughout
the same 6 hours of it. Yeah,
sometimes. But yes, I've finally gotten into that because there's been things that's been on my list, but like I said, like I had to finish my shit first.
Yeah.
Like it's
I've abandoned watching new series unless it like takes me, by the nuts. I've been watching the Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man series.
Oh, I still need. Yeah,
really
all the nerd shit. I got to catch up.
If it's like 30 minutes,
everything.
I can do it. If it's any longer than that, I'm like,
Yeah. Oh, I did finally watch Bad Batch. I finished that. That ended so strong.
Oh man,
That
I finished the last
Omega.
season.
Oh yeah, no. There's only the 3 seasons,
Yeah.
and it was a long time ago. I finally sat down and watched the last season, and it's so strong.
Invincible season came out too.
To answer your question, there's a lot of nerd shit I need to catch up on, especially now that we're gonna start talking about.
Yeah, we'll be happy to.
To answer
watch it.
your question a little bit to Jermaine earlier about re-editing or writing and stuff like that. I just saw. I might have shared it with you guys. I saw an interview with Alan Moore, comic book writer of like Watchmen, and great comic book writer. And his advice was like, not only do you have to read good books, you have to read bad books.
Oh,
Like you read read bad books, and you could recognize like, what the fuck, like all right, I'm better than this, or I can. And you could also see, you read a bad book and you look back and okay, why was this bad? And honestly, it'd be the same thing with like a movie. Like if you were trying to make a movie or podcast, you look back at a bad one and be like, oh, this is really bad. Like, and so like I like that kind of advice of not only like aspire to be certain things, but you can also look at something and be like, okay, I need to not be this also.
I think that's why it's so fun. Like me, I've been watching like 2 or 3 movies a week for the past, like 6 months. Is like I force myself to watch the things that maybe aren't as exciting, and when you actually do see a really bad one, you're like, yeah, but it wasn't that movie,
Oh yeah.
Like we're very critical about. Although I did go on like a 2.5 minute review on Captain America: Brave New World, but because I care.
Nice. I really hope someone is listening to this podcast as like a bad one, and they're going to hear me say that and be like, oh,
Hey,
we're not bad. We're
practice makes better, and that's our light. It's nice to be back again. So let's land this fucking plane. You can find us at the Hype Attack on Instagram and TikTok. And if you're only listening to this, once again, we are have full video episodes, so you can see all of our happiest shish faces.
tired,
Season 3,
satisfied. Satisfied.
Season 3.
At youtube.com/ the Hype Attack podcast, right? Yeah. Until then, till next time, same hype time,
Same hype channel.
Out of practice.
Hype attack.
Woo!